Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about Armored Core 6, the latest game from Software. If you're not familiar with From Software, they're the studio behind some of the most challenging and rewarding games of the last decade, including Dark Souls and Bloodborne. So when I heard they were making a new game, especially when I heard it's a mech game, I was really excited to check it out. My favorite mech game was, and maybe still is, Hawken. I will compare the games at some point in this video, in the relevant section. I'm making this video after I played the first 10 missions or so, perhaps even less, because I repeated a couple of them a few times so I get currency, so my final opinion might change. Stay tuned for the full review that's coming when I finish the game and play all the game modes. Armored Core 6 is a third-person action game that emphasizes mecha-based vehicular combat. Players take on the role of pilots in control of strong mechs known as armored cores. This type of game, sadly, is not so popular in the West, and in this subgenre there is no competition really. And because of that, some decisions have been made during the development stages of the game. I am pretty sure of that. Customization. It's refreshing to see developers let you customize freely and fully the colors and decals of each part of your mech. This is a perk almost forgotten by everyone, of having no microtransactions in a game. And you can even change shaders on each part for free. Take that, Destiny 2, in your face. There are a lot of mech parts you unlock during gameplay, and can freely swap them between missions or if you die before loading the game at the last checkpoint. That's so cool because you don't need to replay the entire mission if you change a weapon, for example. You can freely sell parts for full value back to the vendor. This is another unheard of thing these days, a game that truly respects your time. What's that nonsense? Back on topic. Mechs parts define your playstyle. Easy to do, hard to master, comes to mind after I tried the few parts I unlocked. And this goes for the combat also. Every time I died during the first boss battle, that's the first mission of the game by the way, I felt like I learned something. So there's a ton of room for improvement. You need to time your dashes and your melee attacks especially because those make you very vulnerable if you want to come on top. Combat is like an eternal dance between energy management, movement on all axes, cooldowns, reload timers, multi-target rocket attacks and perhaps more. So boss battles are pretty hard but rewarding. Next up, let's talk about the graphics. Armored Core 6 looks okay. The mechs are highly detailed and the environments are nicely textured. The game runs smooth on my PC and I didn't experience any frame drops or any other issues. That said, I heard a lot of people are disappointed with the graphics of this game. What I can say in its defense is it looks better when you actually play it. The game doesn't really look bad, but it lacks in the graphics department a bit. There are a few things that contribute to this perception. Color correction. While I agree you need excessive color correction when you try to go for dystopian industrial capitalistic look and feel, thank you Bing, you need to have this unsaturated, bleak, devoid of life looking environment. But that doesn't mean your initial textures should have this lack of color in them. Architecture and level layout. Developers nailed the industrial side of things. Pipes, refineries, all kinds of storage tanks and structures are looking good. When it comes to civilian buildings, they dropped the ball, in my opinion. Boring looking textures with small shiny windows that serve only the purpose of an advantageous position when you jump on top of them. I never saw buildings so high you cannot jump over in the gameplay area of any level so far. They exist, but they are always used as some sort of barrier so you don't go outside the bounds of the level. And this is where the old Hoken comes into play. I like the level layouts in that game way more. While it still has a lot of verticality, you are confined in those corridors, if you will. Meaning devs used in Hoken big structures you can't go over, forcing you to go around them and jump only on smaller buildings and structures. That creates a more compelling gameplay experience in my opinion. Take this concept art for example. This is what I was expecting the levels to look like. Because this open world feeling from software we're going for in this game doesn't cut it for me. I'd rather go for this linear approach of mission structure, and it doesn't even need to be linear, by the way. You can reach the objective coming from 2 or 3 different directions. I'm not saying the game should not have open spaces. During boss battles and from time to time, this feels great. But having the freedom to fly straight to your objective almost all the time feels rather bad. Sometimes it seems like the environment serves no purpose but having something on the screen. The indoor missions feel way better because of that. Scale. Because the game lacks small details, your mech being huge and all that, the environment is not looking believable. You guys need to understand that all these points combined contribute to this feeling that graphics wise the game is lacking. And the final point I want to address about graphics in this game is the following. There is no competition for Armored Core 6. None. Nada. MechWarrior 5 and Hoken Reborn are not suitable contenders in the graphics department. But even so, MechWarrior does a few things like sense of scale better than AC6. So developers made the game just good enough. They didn't take the Elden Ring approach that has a very good art direction and style. So it's not like their engine is outdated and they need to transition to Unreal Engine 5 or whatever. I saw this take from someone on YouTube the other day. Their engine is perfectly capable of delivering good graphics and good performance games on every platform. The sound effects in Armored Core 6 are good. The weapons all sound powerful and satisfying, and the explosions are suitable epic. The music is also great, with a mix of electronic and orchestral tracks that really get you going. So there you have it, my first impressions of Armored Core 6. Overall, I'm really impressed with the game. The gameplay is tight and exciting, the graphics are okay, and the sound is good. If you're a fan of mechs and action games in general, don't get discouraged by my little rant about graphics and level design because the gameplay is top notch. I highly recommend you giving Armored Core 6 a try. This is everything I got. See ya.